Hi everyone, so I finally finished the morning session. I did the other half of what I needed to do. See, that's what happens when you have problems with your internet. But anyway, the last part of that morning session was also good. There were two people on there. One was Yat Lee, a Canadian-born man with multiple disabilities, and Ingrid. So they both talked about their experiences of living with disabilities and the need to accommodate people with disabilities. It saves you $4,600 if you retain somebody with a disability rather than recruiting somebody new. And some accommodations are free. So, for example, if somebody has diabetes, they may need frequent breaks because they need to take medication or they need to eat. And those are simple enough to incorporate into your workplace. And some of the disabilities are not that costly. They cost less than $500. So, for example, for me, with my eyes, when I was working at Teleperformance, I was getting painful eyes. And I asked them if they can buy screens for me. They said, no, if you want the screen, you have to buy it yourself, which I did. I bought the screens from Amazon, and I put them on my computer screens. It's just the glare from the screens that affects some people's eyes, and it affected me. And also because you're not sitting, they didn't want you to sit with your computer screen facing your windows for security purposes, so you're not getting that direct sunlight coming in, because my computers were quite away from the windows. If you have direct light, that also helps, and also turning on the lights helps. That's what I found. And accommodations are reciprocally beneficial, so they don't only benefit you as a person, they benefit the organization because you're getting more productive workers. Yat Lee's story is amazing because he was born without his ears and he has prosthetics now on his face, so that helps him. And just hearing people's stories of resilience is something that it really moves you when you are at these HRPA conferences. Also getting to meet them. I haven't gone to an HRPA conference for, I think, over 10 years, if not longer. But it's good to meet people face to face and interact with them. And disabilities sometimes are hidden. So they were saying that around 16% of people have disabilities related to pain, which they have to deal with. So like for me, I use my essential oils to help with my ears now. And they do help. They're very, very good. But companies need to consider that when they are accommodating people. And people hide episodic disabilities because people don't like talking about it. People don't like bringing it up because of the stigma. But in our country today, in Canada, it's becoming more and more prevalent. And if you disclose it, people can help you. People can bring in the supports. If you don't disclose it, they can't do anything. So if you choose not to disclose it, they're not going to do anything anyway. For me, I think you might as well disclose it because then at least they can try to help if they're good. So when you are looking at disabilities, people need to feel safe to disclose it and to self-identify. And also the theme, nothing about us without us. So ask people, are you comfortable with me talking about this to the public or talking about this to the team? Ask people, because sometimes people are not comfortable. They may not want it to be disclosed. And the last session was from Fertility Alberta. 1 in 6 people will be affected by infertility. Over 2 million people are affected by infertility in Canada. And obviously I'm not giving you the full presentation. These are just the notes, some of the notes I took. 10% of women will have polycystic ovarian syndrome. 15% are affected by miscarriage. And infertility affects men and women equally. But because God has gifted us women with the womb, we are the ones who most likely will be the ones going through most of the trauma and the tests and whatever gets done to help us to bear children. So by the age of 35, infertility is rampant. So fertility drops off the cliff by the age of 35. And many women and men are turning to things like freezing eggs, and they want to delay having children. But the IVF costs are prohibitive. So HR has the ability to advocate for people, to look at bringing in some of the cost coverage in the systems, and we can look at what policies we have to support that. What policies do you have, and what cultural norms do you need to promote in your workplaces? For all my friends and my family who are in Africa and the young people, that's why I tell you, have your kids. Don't delay. You can always study part-time. You can always get your degrees. You can always do other things. But God gave us a basic clock, our fertility clock. He gave that to us. And there are some things you cannot change. You cannot replace. The speaker spoke about how she was fortunate. She had children through IVF, and they were both healthy children. But I do know, not only from this talk today, but also from talking to some of the sisters who had nieces that went through this, how cost prohibitive it is, and how invasive it is, and how painful it can be, especially for the woman, when you've gone past that childbearing age and now you're trying to have children, or if there's a problem with the man and it's the man's sperm that's the problem, and you need to have some kind of treatment done so that you can have your family together. And in her case, she did mention that it was her husband that there was a problem with the sperm, but then she still had to go through all the steps and the treatments and everything before they could have their children. And it is painful as a woman. So, I always tell the young people in my life and the people who I'm close to that, if you want to have children, have them while you're still young. It's not only, I'm not being biased, it's not just my Catholic upbringing. It's also when you're having that baby, your bones, your pelvic bones are stronger as a woman to push that baby out. Your body is stronger. Like everything God gives us is a gift. And this is not part of their presentation. This is just my insights. Everything God gives us in our body is a gift. As we age, our eyesight can become weaker. Our teeth, our pelvic bones, everything changes in our body. So for me, I tell people, get married, fall in love, have your children, raise your families. It didn't work out for me that way, but I make the most of every day. And where I'm allowed to, I stay close to the children in our families. Now, sometimes you're not allowed to. So it's important to think about that. And I know like Bill Gates is promoting the stupid IVF 10-year contraception in Africa. I'm glad the African leaders are pushing back, because look at what's happening in Canada. Look what's happening to the populations. Now they want the children and they can't have them. I was open to marriage when I was in my 20s. I wanted to get married. I wanted to have my own family, but it didn't happen for me. So, that's my message. Like, yeah, at HR you can have these policies and support IVF and all that, but I would say go for it. If you're young lovers, fall in love, stay in love, and enjoy your families, because once that time is up, it's very hard. It's very, very hard. And I've walked with women on that journey, and men. I've walked with them on that journey of, losing children, losing the embryo, losing the fetus. I've walked with them on that journey, and it's very painful. Children are a gift. And if you're blessed with them and you're lucky to have them in your life, then you're very blessed. Like Nelson Mandela said, for 27 years he couldn't hear the sound of children. And that's one of the things that I hate about being at home and being isolated. I love it when I go to the church and I hear the children in the church, or even if I hear children here in the corridors or see them when I go out. It's a gift. It's a gift. But when Catholic women like me talk about it, they're like, oh yeah, there they go again, these Christians. There's a lot of wisdom in the Catholic tradition. And what Europe is doing, and all these places saying that, oh, we're only going to have benefits for up to 2 children, and making it so communist, it's a punishment. It's a punishment to do that to people. Because when women get older, it's very, very hard to have children. It's very, very hard. And even for men, the body changes. Even for me, my doctor told me I have to take calcium now every day. And I hate those calcium tablets. They're huge. They're not like the pills you get in England. In England, the tablets are tiny. Here, they're huge, and you even feel like you're choking when you're swallowing them. But he told me, he said, your bones are fine, because they sent me, it was weird. It was like you have to have your whole body has to be scanned to check your bone density. He said to me, your bones are fine, but he said only your pelvic bones are getting thin. Your pelvic bones are not what they should be. So now I have to take calcium. But yeah, that's just my message to the women and men out there, especially if you're young, you're in your 20s, you're in your 30s. Like, have your children, have your families, and enjoy them if that's what you want. Because once you get older, it just becomes too late. Yeah, you can adopt, you can try different things, and today we have all the artificial means and ways of having children. We can adopt children. But even for me, my mom told me, why don't you have a child? I said, to have a child with who? And how am I going to manage? I don't even make enough to meet my own expenses. Then how am I going to have a child, and how am I going to provide for that child? So it just becomes very, very hard. But thankfully, her story worked out. She's got a nice family. She's got 2 children, and I'm happy for her. But for many people, it doesn't work out. Doesn't work out. And for many of us, it's like a hole in your life. It's like, oh, I would have loved to have had my own family. But you make the most of the journey, and you give thanks to God for the children you do have in your life, and you cherish them. That's all I can say. So that's it. I finished the morning session finally. So now I can go to sleep. But I wanted to finish it because I had too many problems today with my internet and my email. But it's done.